What is going on, guys? Matt Downs with Daily Grind Fantasy Sports to help give you the edge for this NBA 4-game slate. Cannot wait to break it down. If you guys are brand new to this channel, we provide both free and paid content for all daily fantasy sports across all sports. If you want to be entered into a $25 giveaway, please like, subscribe, and also comment your favorite GPP option for this slate. If you guys would like to know more about becoming a better DFS player and taking down that big GPP, head over to www.patreon.com/DGFantasy for more information. On Patreon, we give advanced cheat sheets for all DFS sports on DraftKings. These cheat sheets include updated projections, ownership, and our overall favorite plays from slate to slate. We take it a step further by teaching you how to play fantasy sports like a shark, by showing you where the best leverage spots are to put you in the best spots to take down tourneys. Also included is our private Discord chat where you get to talk over the slate with everyone, including our coaches, to help build your lineups. Now let's go ahead and dive right into this NBA slate, but you guys know I have to show off the Patreon content over the weekend. We had a couple great days. We played NFL, NBA. We have League of Legends going on. We have everything, guys, okay? So I only picked 5 of these screenshots, and I have like 30 sent to me every morning. So just take a look here, guys. We have one person who turned $10 double up, $4 and close to $12, close to a takedown. We have double ups all the way around winning here. This was a small cash line. Only scored 269 and ended up pushing over the cash. So looked like some chalk busted last night. We had $12 turned into 35, and then yet another close takedown here, $4 and $15. Like I said, guys, I just choose some of the screenshots. We have like 30 sent to us in the Discord. But let's go ahead and dive right into
my screenshot on there, Matt.
Yeah, I know. So TJ had a good payout, winning $1,500, I believe, on the 2-game slate last night, right, TJ? You threw in only 300, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said only sarcastically. All right, so let's go ahead and switch over to the slate, guys. We have 2 games earlier on in the day that is not part of the main slate. We are only covering the main slate. It's going to be a 4-game main slate, starting out with Philly versus OKC. With Philly, we're going to talk about the injury here, the injury news. Seth Curry, Embiid, Korkmaz, Mike Scott all out. With OKC, we have Ariza, Horford, Ty Jerome all out for them. For Utah, we have Ingles still out, so pay attention to them. With Denver, we have the same injury news that doesn't really impact them, with Porter still out. With New Orleans, we still have Lonzo Ball out. Sacramento, we actually have Whiteside and Bagley, technically questionable right now, so something to pay attention to a little bit later. Me and TJ will be breaking that down later on the stream. With the Pacers, unfortunately, LeVert, we all know his status is going to be out for this game and going forward. Bidades, Bowen, Lamb, and Warren are all still out for these guys. And then last but not least, the Clippers. Lou Will is questionable, so definitely something to keep our eye on. Let's go ahead and start with the Philly 76ers. Like I said, they have a tremendous amount of injuries still out, TJ. And more specifically with Joel Embiid. So who does that give a boost to overall on this roster?
Matthias Thybulle, Matt. No, it's obviously going to give a boost to Dwight Howard at 4,800. Played last night, played 34 minutes, Matt, against Memphis. Back-to-back going up against OKC. I'm currently seeing him projected at 25 minutes. If this game's competitive, I could see him playing 28 to 30. I don't know if he would get to 34 again on a back-to-back. But regardless, with Embiid off the floor, Dwight Howard gets a little bit of a usage bump, and he's a 1.13 fantasy point per minute. I currently have him pegged at 28 DraftKings points, so I think he should be able to pay off that 4,800 price tag. He is going to be probably the chalkiest play on the slate, if not one of them. And with Embiid and Seth Curry off the floor, there are some other options here. I think Philly garnered a lot of ownership last night against Memphis in terms of cash. Guys like Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris. Ben Simmons obviously outperforming Tobias yesterday, but that doesn't mean I'm going to go off of a guy like Tobias tonight just because he didn't play good last night. I still think he's viable. He gets a 2.8% usage bump, 1.25 fantasy point per minute, and carries the second highest usage on the team behind Shake Milton, Shake Shack, as I like to call him.
There you go.
So I think Milton's in play for cash as well at 5,900 still, even with that price bump. He gets a 7% usage bump with Seth and Embiid off the floor. He's a 1.28 fantasy point per minute and a 31.5% usage rate off the bench, as he did yesterday. Smash value. I really like him again at 6K. So in terms of cash, Matt, I think Dwight's going to be a lock. I think you can go to Tobias Harris again at 7,800, and I think you can go to Shake Shack again at 5,900. Those would be my 3 plays. Simmons is going to carry ownership as well. Again, it's between Simmons and Harris. I'm going to lean Harris, even though he did not perform last night,
Right.
in relativity to Simmons. But I still think you're going to need one of those guys, and I think you're going to find yourself probably 2 to 3 guys from this roster in terms of cash.
Yeah, and a couple of other plays, some GPP options. Maxey has been playing very well, 27 minutes, $5,200. That's the only thing I don't like about him is his price tag, but he's still very productive with all those injuries off the court. Keep in mind, Philly's playing a pace down spot technically. They're projected at 111, which actually isn't too bad, but we know that OKC just plays at a very, very slow pace. Danny Green, another GPP option. I know people hate him because when he's chalk, completely sucks. Well, guess what? He's just GPP option tonight, so he's going to go off for 50 points. 5.2K, playing in 32 minutes, so I do like the minute increase here with Danny Green with all these guards off the court. 5.1 point per dollar value, so just a couple of other options. You can't really go wrong with any one of these plays. One of these players should smash their value and break the slate, so it's just a matter of picking the right one. But yeah, I completely agree with you. I think Tobias Harris, Dwight Howard, and Shake Milton are going to be cash options for me tonight. Let's move on to OKC. We have a little bit of injury news. More importantly, with not Dwight Howard, Horford off the court. Does give a usage boost to Roby. Roby at $4,200. TJ, are you considering him for cash?
I muted myself. Yes, I am, Matt. I think for me, he's going to be a cash lock again at 4,200. Very productive with Horford off the floor. He's a 0.99 fantasy point per minute. So last game against the Bulls, he did foul out later in the fourth quarter. So we got most of his run. I think 26, 27 minutes is a safe number for him. And if you do the math, if he's going to play 26 minutes and he's a 1 fantasy point per minute, should get you around 26, 27 DraftKings points. I currently have him projected, Matt, at 26. So at 4,200, he should be able to pay that off pretty handsomely, and he doesn't have to go up against Embiid down low, so that is nice as well. I like the big men here with Dwight and Isaiah Roby from this game in terms of cash. If I'm looking elsewhere, Lou Dort is somebody I was pretty vocal about as a last piece on Friday night and absolutely smashed. He went for 11 times value. He hit for 46.5 DraftKings points. Matt, he had 6 steals.
Yeah,
he had 6 steals.
That's crazy.
6 steals and a block. So that's 14
very
points
good
on those.
Defense.
Yeah, very good defensively. So I do like Lou Dort as a last piece as well. Again, tonight at 4,700. I think SGA is going to carry some ownership, and rightfully so. But my 2 favorites are going to be Isaiah Roby. Probably he's going to be a cash lock for me. And then I think my second favorite is going to be Lou Dort. I am interested to see the ownership on SGA tonight as well at 8,300.
I think he'll be more on the chalky side. But yeah, I completely agree with all your picks. You're not going to repeat anything you said. Dort is definitely more of a GPP option. I think he always carries very low ownership. Keep in mind, this is going to be a pace-up spot for OKC. They're projected at 108, so not too bad for them. Probably an average to pace-up spot. So I do like them in this position here versus Philly. Let's go ahead and switch over to Utah. Utah, really aggressive price tag increases all the way around. I'm going to say, I'm going to cut to the chase here, probably all GPP options. TJ, are you considering anybody here for cash?
No, probably not for cash. Mike Conley at 7K, if he can get,
price
full lot of
minutes,
I know, but he's been playing pretty good. Well. So I wouldn't hate him if you land there as the last piece. I think Jordan Clarkson's going to be, again, probably my favorite tournament play at 6,300. He is so scoring dependent, which is the only scary thing. But he has been rebounding the ball a little bit here lately. So I do like Clarkson. But yeah, I think if I'm landing anywhere in cash, I think Mike Conley's probably my favorite play at 7,100.
And Joe Ingles actually gives a nice little usage boost. Him being off the court gives a usage boost to both those guys. So yeah, my 2 favorite plays going to be Mike Conley and Clarkson. You guys know I always prefer the minutes. So I'm going to lean probably Mike Conley. But yeah, I also love Jordan Clarkson here. And the really good thing about the slate in general is it's really competitive. Like there's a lot of close spreads here. We're not used to seeing that at all, especially in COVID
hopefully
times.
We get some good games.
Yeah, hopefully. So against Denver should be very competitive. Let's switch over to the Denver side here. Jokic, 11.2K now. He's going up in price tag even more. Deserves it, but this is a bad matchup. I'm not all over Jokic like I am versus some of these other teams. I know Gobert hasn't been playing that well defensively, but still, it's still Gobert. Still one of the best defensive players in the NBA. Do you have any interest in anybody on this roster? I think they're all GBP options as well.
Yeah, Gary Harris being probable. I don't really have too much interest here in terms of cash. Utah currently 4th in defensive efficiency so far in the year. So I think it is a little bit of a tougher matchup. Jokic can easily take it to Gobert. I'm not too worried about that. But that 11-2 price tag, Gobert can play some solid defense. So in terms of cash, I do not have any interest here in Denver.
Completely agree. Let's move on here to the Pelicans. Probably, well, this is the highest spread or highest over-under on the entire slate. The Pelicans are in a pace-up spot. They haven't been playing at a higher pace, but again, it's the Sacramento Kings. TJ, we know they play absolutely no defense whatsoever. I've been targeting them as of late, and it's definitely paid dividends. Really do like all these players just for a last minute or last spot. We know Lonzo Ball is out, so that gives a huge boost to Alexander Walker here. 6.3 point per dollar value. He's only projected at 26 minutes in the last matchup. He got into some really deep foul trouble. Very disappointing, but still only 4.9K. And I was talking to you about this before the video. He actually has the highest usage rate on the court with Lonzo Ball off the court. So what are your thoughts here on Alexander Walker playing only 26 minutes at 4.9K?
Yeah, as long as he can stay out of foul trouble, Matt, I don't see an issue with him paying off that $4,900 price tag. He gets a 1.1 usage bump with Lonzo off the floor. He's a 1.19 fantasy point per minute. And like you talked about, he's a 30.8% usage rate, which is higher than Zion and higher than Ingram. So yeah, I have him pegged at 33.7 DraftKings points right now. I don't expect him to see that kind of foul trouble that he did, last game. And with that being said, you were talking about Sacramento's defensive efficiency, last in the NBA right now, by far, too substantially. So it's a fantastic matchup for these Pelicans. I'm going to be targeting them more so in tournaments. I want to see what their ownership comes in at. But yeah, I would not care, or I think landing on NAW in terms of cash is definitely going to be viable. And it's somewhere that I'm not prioritizing, but he's probably going to make my cash lineup, barring any other crazy injury news that we could see throughout the day.
It's going to be either Zion or Brandon Ingram that's going to break the slate, right? Because this is a pace-up spot. You have to choose one or the other. So which one you lean in, TJ?
Yeah, Ingram.
Ingram?
I'm always Ingram.
Okay. I'll probably go Zion just because he's cheaper. We'll see where I land if I can pay it for Ingram for sure. But right now, with all those guys off the court, they're pretty much the same exact player. I mean, we can kind of expect that. It's going to be a headache choosing one of these two. But yeah, I completely agree. I think Alexander Walker, if I land on him for cash, not going to hate it. And these other two, probably going to land on one of them just for the sake of getting one of those two into the lineup because I'm afraid one of them are going to break the slate. So let's switch over to the Sacramento Kings. We have a lot of pending injury news. Marvin Bagley and Whiteside, if they're held out, we will talk about it more on the stream, but let's just assume they are playing just for the sake of the argument here. TJ, are you targeting any one of these guys here in cash or GPP?
Not in cash. Tournament, sure, but not in cash. But Matt, you were talking about Zion and Ingram. I think if Bagley's out, I'd probably target Zion
That's
too.
A good point.
That's pretty dependent on whether he plays or not, though, obviously. So we got to keep an eye on Bagley and Whiteside. I think that offers some really good pivot option if you're trying to get different in tournaments. I think if both of those guys are out, Rashawn Holmes is going to be forced into playing a lot of minutes. So I would love him for tournaments at 6,700. But besides that, Matt, I don't really have too much interest here, especially in cash. But tournaments, I could see myself rostering some of these guys.
Completely agree with you. Let's go ahead and not waste any more time here. Switch over to the Pacers. And unfortunately, I just hate talking about the Pacers because what could have been. But here's the thing, guys. A lot of value to go around on this team because of it. Right now, we're looking at Brogdon and Sabonis. They're the focal point of this offense right now. Brogdon, $8,700. Sabonis, $9,800. They've got a huge price bump, just with all these guys off the court. And also, Justin Holiday playing 31 minutes is projected to be in the starting lineup, I believe. I want to confirm that.
Who is it?
Nope, he's not in the starting lineup. Oh, no, Justin Holiday is. Small forward.
Yeah,
so, yeah. So, he's an option as well, TJ. Are you looking at any one of these guys for cash?
I am. I think I still look at Brogdon at that 8,700 price tag, and I know that's a scary price tag, and it's really getting up there, but I think he pays it off, Matt. I think he's in a good spot. So if you take off Oladipo off the court and you take off TJ Warren, he gets a 2.7% usage bump. He's a 1.28 fantasy point per minute and carries the second highest usage rate at 27.3, which is only behind Sabonis. And he's going to play, if this game's competitive, he can play 40 minutes.
Yep.
So if they can keep it close with the Clippers, he can get those type of minutes. So I do like him for cash at 8,700. I think he's viable. Justin Holiday at 4,600. I wouldn't hate him as a last piece, but he always scares me. He's only a 0.85 fantasy point per minute. He does get a 1.5% usage bump with Warren and Oladipo off the floor. The usage isn't there, but again, he's going to be a guy that could play 32 minutes if this game is competitive. He's currently pegged at 30. So I don't hate him as a last piece at 4,600. Miles Turner's a guy, Matt, that we always talk about that pops on the sheet. at 7K. Like
Mr. Reliable.
he can get you 5 total steals and blocks. He's done it in his last 3 games.
Yeah.
He's had 5 steals and blocks,
Not
7
out of the
steals and
question
blocks,
anymore.
5 steals and blocks. So I don't hate him, but more of a tournament play for me. I think if I'm going anywhere, it's probably going to be Brogdon and Cash. And again, I wouldn't hate Justin Holiday as the last piece, but I think Brogdon is only my main priority. TJ McConnell at 3,700 too. I'll have interest in tournaments, but yeah, that's kind of my thought process. Is Brogdon is probably a go for me in Cash.
Well, then I will go another direction and talk about Sabonis, $9,800 here in a fantastic matchup. We know that the Clippers do struggle against bigs, and I think Sabonis is the definition of a scoring-dependent big. He's very good. Gets an obvious usage bump here. Let me actually pull the sheet.
3.4%.
3.4%, averaging 1.39 fantasy points per minute. So it's actually the highest on the Pacers if you get rid of Jalen here with 3.7 minutes of sample size. But yeah, I think Sabonis is fantastic. $9,800. I think, again, one of these players are going to be in the smash spot just because there's so much usage to go around. It's going to be either Brogdon or Sabonis. Pick one or the other. I know that you're going to prefer Brogdon, and I completely agree with you. One of these guys are going to have a fantastic ceiling game, assuming they keep it close. Let's go ahead and switch over, last but not least, to the Clippers. All GPP, TJ?
Yes. Yep. If Lou's out, I'd like Bev at 4,800. But yeah, all tournaments here for the Clippers. Probably Paul George would be my favorite, man.
Yeah, he's been playing phenomenal.
Playing very good.
Yeah.
Especially off an off game against Sacramento. I feel like people are going to be like, oh, yeah, but like he got the price bump and he stinks. And no, he's been very good. Just one off game. So,
all right. Well, then,
yeah, tournaments for me.
Yeah, completely agree. Guys, we're going to be breaking all this down on the live stream, so feel free to join us a little bit later. Let's go ahead and break that record of 380. We've been trying to do it for 2 straight weeks. We're getting close. But no cigar, so let's try to do it on this live stream. Guys, if you did enjoy this video, please do hit that subscription button, notification bell, and of course, smash that like button for all of our future NBA content. With all that being said, have a great rest of your day, and let's cash.
See you guys.